So I've heard some of y'all out here saying that white men are better, and I just want to ask you this: at what? Hi, my name is Amanda, and in today's video, I want to not necessarily debunk, but question, analyze, add another perspective to this narrative going around that white men make for better romantic partners for black women, and in particular for black women who are looking to divest from black men. So let's talk about it. And the reason that I even bring this up in the first place is that I make a lot of content on interracial dating because that is my personal experience, and that's something that I have a lot of personal experience with. And I show and brag about my man all the time on my platform, and he's a white man. And I want to add and make it very clear that I love him, and you should love who you love based on his character and not his color. And I just really feel like some of you all are starting to misconstrue the personal experiences that us YouTubers who talk about interracial dating are sharing with you. So let's set the record straight and make the message crystal clear. White men are not better than black men. White men are not better than Asian men. White men are not better than Hispanic men. White men, there are some white men who are not even better than other white men. And here's another thing that you have to understand: there are no better men. There are no better people. We are all equal. We are all equal, period. And really, the only thing that you should be looking for is not the better men, but the better man for you. And if you're sizing that up based solely on race, then you're doing it all wrong. And I noticed that we tend to equate things that are easy or that come with ease with things that are better, but I'm gonna talk more about that later. All right, so I'm gonna get off the soapbox, I'm gonna grab a glass of wine, and I'm gonna talk to you about how interracial dating, and in particular dating a white man as a black woman, isn't necessarily going to be better. Alright, I'm ready, let's talk. So I said this in a previous video that I'll link above, but I just want to reinforce this and say this again. If you are a black woman who lives in a predominantly white area, works in a predominantly white space, and tends to spend their leisure time in predominantly white areas, then it may be easier for you to date a white man, to date outside of your race. That does not mean that it is better. That does not mean it is better for you to do that or that you will have better results. I just believe that you should take advantage of the resources within your proximity. Use myself for example. I grew up in a predominantly white space, in a space that had predominantly white men more so than women or other groups. I went on to college, and then I went and got my master's degree, and my background in academia made me have to spend a lot of time in predominantly white male spaces. So therefore, even now, where I still live and work in a predominantly white area, it has always been easier for me to date white men because they've always been within reach. That does not mean that all of my experiences have been perfect or rainbows and fairy tales because it was easy. It was better for this reason. So I want to preface this second point by saying I think this is honestly a collective issue within the black community, regardless of gender. But to go back to why I said previously that I had better experiences, not because of proximity, but because of aligned values. And in particular, I have found myself to be more in alignment with the white men that I have dated when it comes to LGBTQ plus issues. The insensitivity and the lack of inclusivity of LGBTQ plus members in the black community is honestly just awful, and I think it goes for all genders within the black community. I don't think that one gender is any worse than the other. I have found from my own limited personal experience that most of the white men that I have dated are more aligned with my stance on the LGBTQ plus community and being, as much as we can, an ally and a support system for those who identify among that community. And this is one case, this is one scenario where it has been easier for me to date white men because of this alignment of values that I have found. However, it's better in this case because it's easier because our values are aligned, not because it's just inherently better. And lastly, this is an issue that I know runs deep, and I don't take lightly the historical reasons behind this phenomena, behind this issue. However, another reason why it can sometimes be easier and therefore better for black women to date outside of their race and date white men is that there is a culture, a toxic culture of masculinity worldwide. Let's be clear, worldwide, across all places across the world. However, I do think that there is a special toxic culture of masculinity that is mainstream within the black community, and I have found it to be easier at times to relate more to white men because they don't have that particular type of masculinity, that particular type of toxic masculinity. And let me be clear, I do not think masculinity is toxic. I think as a collective group of human beings, we should be striving to align and reconcile and strengthen our masculine and our feminine side. I'm sure me saying this at all is going to get me a ton of hate, and I'm going to be accused of emasculating black men or wanting to date feminine men, but that's not the case. Alright y'all, so that is it for me. I hope that you enjoyed tonight's video. It's tonight for me, but it may be today when you're watching it. And I really just want to encourage all of you to be compassionate to one another and to spread the love and the light among others that you want to be present in your own life. People say all the time that we don't owe anyone anything, but I honestly think that that's a cowardly response, and I think that that just takes accountability away from us and our actions and our ability to make profound change in the world. So again, spread love and light and really be that change that you hope will be in this world. And until next time, stay safe, be well, and I'll see you soon. Bye everyone.